let us discuss the object oriented programming through Java. So in this, the first unit is about basics of Java. So here let us discuss the how the programming languages have been developed and what exactly the object oriented programming. So when computers were invented initially, the first programming was done by manually using the binary numbers. This language was named as mission level language. So as long as programs were just few hundred instructions, this approach worked. As programming grew, assembly language was invented so that a programmer could deal with larger, increasingly complex programs by using symbolic representations of the mission instructions. As programs continued to grow, high level languages were introduced that gave the programmer more tools with which uh, to handle complexity. Whenever a new programming language is designed, some trade offs are made, such as ease of use versus power, safety versus efficiency, rigidity versus extensibility. So, these are the three trade offs whenever any new language um, people used to invent. These trade offs are made. So let us see the few high level language programming languages. Basic, which is easy to learn but is not powerful. Its lack of structure. COBOL stands for Common Business Oriented Language. COBOL is used for writing application programs, and we cannot use it to write system software which require huge data processing, make extensive use of COBOL. And there is another language, Pascal, is a procedural program language. It is an efficient language intended to encourage good programming packages using structured programming and data structures. Another language was Fortran. It is a general purpose compiled imperative programming language that is especially suited to numeric computations and scientific applications, but is not good for system code. These languages are designed to work with go-to statements. All the languages, whatever we have discussed, that is Basic, COBOL, Pascal, and Fortran. These high-level languages are designed to work with go-to statement. As a result, programs written using these languages tend to produce spaghetti code which is impossible to understand. To overcome the above problem, an efficient and structured high level language was developed by Dennis Ritchie, named as C language, during his implementation of Unix operating system, which is similar to an older language called BCPL, which is developed by Martin Richards. The BCPL was influenced by language called B, invented by Ken Thompson. C was formally standardized in December 1989 by the American National Standards Institute. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, C became the dominant computer programming language, and it is still widely used today. Since C is a successful and useful language, you might ask why a need for something else. The answer is complexity. To overcome the complexity, uh, mm, another new level language was developed. So, though the 1960 gave birth to structured programming, this structured programming method was championed by languages such as C. The use of structured language enabled programmers to write for the first time moderately complex programs fairly easily. However, even with structured programming methods, once a project reaches a certain size, its complexity exceeds what a programmer can manage. To solve the above problem, a new way to program was invented called object oriented programming. OOP is a programming methodology that helps organize complex programs through the use of the three principles: inheritance, encapsulation, and polymorphism. Though C language is a great language, once the program size is increased, it limits its ability to handle increasing complexity. C++ added new features to handle this complexity. C++ is just an extension to the C language, but it is not a complex language. When the platform is changed, the object file generated by compiling the source file of C++ will not be able to run on another platform. So here C++ language is also an object-oriented programming language, which is just an extension of C. Then, though there is an object-oriented programming language like C++, why people try to invent another object-oriented programming language such as Java? So the answer is very simple. Here, C++, though it is an object-oriented programming language, it is the disadvantage with this C++ is it is platform dependent. That is, program written for one particular platform will not be able to run on the another platform. So to overcome this problem, a new object-oriented programming language named as Java has been developed, which is platform independent. So program written on any platform uh, mm, that can be executed on any other platform. So here let us see the differences among the procedural programming language versus object-oriented programming language. All computer programs consist of two elements basically: code and data. A program can be conceptually organized around its code or around its data. So, that is, some programs are written around what is happening, and others are written around who is being affected. So, these are the two paradigms that govern how a program is constructed. The first way is called the procedural oriented model or procedural language. This approach characterizes a program as a series of linear steps. The process oriented model can be thought of as code acting on data. Procedural language such as C employ this model to considerable success. To manage increasing complexity, the second approach, called object oriented programming, was designed. Object oriented programming organizes a program around its data, that is, uh, objects, and a set of well defined interfaces to that data. An object oriented programming can be characterized as data controlling access to code. So, the differences between object oriented programming and procedural oriented programming: under object oriented programming, OOP takes a bottom up approach in designing a program, whereas POP follows top down approach. Uh, Program is divided into objects depending on the problem under OOPS. Under POP, program is divided into small chunks based on the functions. Under OOP, each object controls its own data. Under POP, each function contains different data. Under OOP, focuses on security of the data irrespective of the algorithm. Under POP, follows a systematic approach to solve the problem. Under OOP, the main priority is data rather than function in a program. Under POP, functions are more important than data in a program. Under OOP, the functions of the objects are linked via message passing. Under POP, different parts of a program are interconnected via parameter passing. Under OOP, data hiding is possible in OOP. Under POP, no easy way for data hiding. Under OOP, inheritance is allowed in OOP. Under POP, no such concept of inheritance in POP. Under OOP, operator overloading is allowed. Under POP, operator overloading is not allowed. Under OOP, examples for OOP, C++ and Java. Examples for POP, Pascal and Fortran.